KT7 up here. Today, I will review and showcase 140 Lightning Astrius and Winter Raph. He is the first of 8 Ashes of Apocalypse characters. He is a final piece to complete the new Mono Lightning. Astrius has a lot of bulk and very good firepower. He specializes in breaking barriers and courage removal. He can also perform follow-up attack, just like the previous version. They gave him very good innate magic resistance, which is perfect for the current magic meta. Also, I will go into details on Raph, since I did not do a 140 showcase for her. Here are the items we will go over today. Let's get started. Astrius is a 100 cost lightning element unit. His unique main job can equip great sword, heavy armor, and helm. His sub-jobs are Martialist and Soldier. His TMR is an accessory. The stats are HP 285, Attack 36, Defense 6, 5 Spirit, and 3 Agility. The ability is a diamond-shaped AoE buff. The effects for the group are Brave Up 24, Slash Attack Up 15, Nullify Mobilize and Berserk for 3 turns. Plus restore 10 AP for the user. This TMR is useful for agility and initial movement adjustments. Astrius' stats are very good. His HP is close to tank level at 3871. His attack is at 416, which is just 1 point lower than of Sephiroth and Bradley. His agility is at 56, it is just okay, but he has a passive that can increase it. One thing I need to point out is his accuracy is low, it is a major weakness of his. And all the rest of his stats are just okay. His attack type resistances are 20 to slash, 10 to strike, and 15 to magic. Has a -5 to pierce, it is not too bad. His ailment resistances are 50 to poison, 50 to frostbite, and 10 to paralyze. He can inflict poison with his LB, but I don't recommend giving him high faith, 50 is just fine. Next up, his mastery ability. He gets 20 slash penetration, and acquired AP up 30%. From 140, he gets 15 unit attack resistance, 30 reaction block rate. And lower the AP consumption of his barrier break sword, and increase the damage modifier from medium to large. Now his new weapon. The general ability is slash attack 15. For Astrius, he also gets slash penetration 20, and physical man-eater 10. These also apply to a few other main jobs. Moving on to his main job support abilities. Support number 1 gives him attack 24%, defense penetration 40, and a 3 times 50% physical damage barrier at start of battle. His support ability number 2 increases the proc chance of his main job reaction by 30%. His reaction ability is a preemptive counter against incoming slash and strike attacks. The range is 4, and range height of 1. With his support ability 2 equipped, this counter attack has a 100% proc rate. Be sure to have reaction block rate up when going up against him. Now let's move over to his LB. It is a unit attack with a range of 4. Before damage, grants Astrius a 3 turns follow-up attack for himself. Breaks the target's physical damage barrier, then deals damage large. And it has a 67% chance to inflict poison. This is a very good LB, however the range is a bit short. It is very common where he does not get to use it in a battle, since he has another attack with much longer range. Next, his buffing abilities. The first one is a group buff around self and has the highest AI priority. For 3 turns, grants the group agility 25 and unit resistance of 25. For himself, bestows courage removal to attacks, and give him an additional reaction ability that reduces physical damage. With this and Allia's buff, the two of them will have plus 30 AoE resistance and plus 25 unit resistance. Astrius will also be able to remove re-raise and courage on his attacks. However, he will run around and cast this multiple times before moving forward. Be mindful of that. His second buff is self-only. Grants him courage and 10% HP regen for 3 turns. Plus AP consumption down 33% and reduce incoming magic damage by 10% when courage is active. This ability is also very important, work very well with Raph. Raph can give Astrius shell, and it will stack with his magic damage reduction effect. The synergies with Oelde and Raph are very good. Moving on to his attacks. We will go down the in-game list. The first one on the list is an AoE attack, with a shape of AX just like Cross Destruction. It can reach as far as 7 panels away. First, break all damage reduction barriers, deals damage large, and reduce target's healing power by 40 for 3 turns. This is a barrier break attack that can reach really far. And because of this ability, he often does not use his LB. The second attack on the list is a unit attack. It can select up to 2 targets within a 3-panel radius around him. Deals medium damage. The damage modifier will increase if Astrius has taken damage and has lower HP. His third attack is the low AP attack, also a unit attack. Can hit up to 2 panels away in a straight line. Before damage, lower target's slash resistance by 60% for 3 turns, then deals a 2-hit small damage. The last attack on the list is his best ability, besides the long-range barrier break. It is a cross-shaped AoE, can reach up to 4 panels away. Before damage, increase his own defense penetration by 30 for 1 turn, then lower target's AoE resistance by 60% for 3 turns, and finally deals medium damage. This is a very powerful ability. It is very likely that his defense penetration will be at 100 when his attack lands. The 60% AoE resistance and peril pairs up really well with Raph's large diamond AoE. Let's move over to his main job sub-abilities. The first one is a TP skill. An AoE buff that increases the group's water resistance by 20 for 3 turns, also grants Astrius 3 turn of shell. The second ability is an AoE attack that can reach up to 4 panels away. It is another X-shaped attack, but is time around self. Deals damage medium, and lower target's attack by 40% and agility by 20%. I do not recommend his main job sub. Soldier sub is much better for him. The first sub job I will go over is the Martialist. Both support abilities are awesome. Martialist Lord gives him 24% attack and 40 defense penetration. I recommend this for him most of the time. The other support is Battlefield Mobility, gives him move +1 and agility up 12%. This is a double-edged sword. I really like the agility, but move +1 can put him in range to attack too soon. The reaction ability he gets is Fluidity, a physical reflex. Don't use this, the proc rate is just too low, stick to his main job preemptive counter. The two notable abilities are Rend the Heavens and Relentless Stance. I think they gave him Martialist just for the support abilities. Next is Soldier sub job. This is the one I like the most. Support ability he gets is Self-Sacrifice, and the counter ability is Counter Slash. Don't even bother leveling these two. From Soldier, he gets Paralyzing Edge. It is a sure hit, which Astrius really needs as his accuracy is low. The other notable ability is Hazard Break. It can dispel protect before damage. It does cost him HP to use, but he has HP regen, so you can leave it on. Okay, we are done with his full kit. Let's go look at his vision card and Esper. This is not a hollow VC. It supports Sword Knight, Great Sword, and Fist. For the lightning element, it includes Squall, Lightning, Oelde, and Alphonse. The stats are HP 289, Attack 153, and Spirit of 6. The party abilities are Slash Attack up 42, Reaction Block Rate up 32, and at level 99, Crit Damage up 25. The bestowed abilities are Accuracy up 15, and Unit Attack Resistance up 5. This will be a sub-card in most situation. Reaction Block Rate is really good, but it is still a sub-card ability. Elder Awakening for Vision card is coming to JP in January. The overall value of sub-slot Vision cards will increase. This VC might be better in the future, but right now, I do not think it is a must-have. The Esper it comes with is in Lightning Element. The attack is pretty good at 115, and the agility is in the middle of the pack at 17. For Astrius, not having a high agility Esper is actually good for him. It makes the initial buffing order much easier to work with when he is with Raph and Oelde. From the Esper board, it has magic damage reduction of 10% and reaction block rate of 35%. The damage reduction will stack with his courage buff and shell. This Esper is tailor-made for Astrius to deal with magic teams. However, I still don't think it is worth it to pick up this card just for the Esper. And this VC is not limited. Next, equipments and Espers. I like his new greatsword the most. It has physical man-eater which can amplify the damage of his follow-up attacks. In global, Esther's sword has lightning attack 30 and slash penetration of 30, which can help Astrius get to 95 slash penetration to start. In the second slot, I like the armor from the reliquaries the most. The damage reduction works really well with his HP regen. Plus the debuff resistance and crit evade are very nice as well. The Brigandine is my second choice for the 10 AoE resistance. This is the only source of AoE resistance he can get from equipments. The TMR slot is just for agility adjustment. He is a 2 buff unit, chances of him getting off a 3rd buff is rare. For his Truststones with the equipments showing below, I like the luck set the most. Barrier or shield set are very good too. A luck set can give him more accuracy and crit evasion. On the right, I like both agility and accuracy. If you go with luck set on the left, and give him accuracy passive on the right, then agility set is likely enough to avoid random misses against non-evasive units. All the physical / based Espers are good for Astrius. They are mostly for agility adjustment. My favorite is the regular Odin. It has high accuracy, agility, and man-eater. Dark Bahamut is also a great choice for him. Man-eater and magic resistance are perfect for him. Next up, sample teams. I will focus on Astrius first, then we'll shift over to Raph. This first team here is the best lightning team at the moment. Raph and lightning both work very well with Astrius. Raph can give him shell which will stack with his magic damage reduction effect from his courage buff. And she can give him even more crit evasion, plus light and dark res. Oelde gives him 30 AoE resistance which he lacks. And the remove re-raise upon hit effect, so he will be able to remove both re-raise and courage at the same time. Astrius can buff the group's unit resistance, and is the perfect unit to be in the front for the group. This team here can go face to face with all teams. The best way to run this team is to have Astrius in the middle and has the lowest agility so that his teammate can give him all buffs, then he runs forward. If you put him on the side or has a tank on the team, chances are he will cast his group buff multiple times. That usually means he won't be able to use his courage. His AI is much more difficult to control if his group buff does not catch both teammates on his first turn. In the setup here, Astrius is on his soldier sub, with Martialist lore, and his main support ability number 1. And main job reaction for the preemptive counter. His defense penetration starts off at 90, and can be over 100, when he uses his 60% AoE resistance and peril attack. His slash penetration is at 50, and there is no way to increase it in JP. In global, if you have the Esther's sword and VC, his slash pen can be at 95. His unit resistance can be at 60 after his own group buff, and 50 AoE resistance with Oelde buffing him. And his crit evasion starts off at 75, and it can reach 95 with Rapha's Right of Refuge. Astrius will be able to take many hits and deal very good damage. My favorite turn order for this team is to put Astrius in the middle, have Oelde goes first, then Raph, then Astrius. Be sure Rapha's agility is higher than Astrius's by at least 4. Or else the affinity could mess up the turn order. The VCs are the typical lightning setup. If you have Esther's card, give it to Astrius as main. You can either put Igai on as sub, or use Squall's card to stack more unit resistance. At the moment, I don't have Rapha's VC. But if you do, you can give it to Raph as main, and use the Salia card as a sub. I am using Europa as my sub agility card which only gives 4%, but it has some magic attack and crit damage. If you don't have Raph, you can use one of the 4 units on the side, but the team won't function as well. The second Astrius team is with Squall and Lightning. This team can dish out crazy amount of damage, but they can't take hits well enough. If you have a strong Lightning, she will be your main offensive carry. Just do everything you can to keep her further in the back. The next slide is Astrius with Devout and Full Great Sword. The team at the top is actually quite strong. Shawls is a less offensive version of Raph, and Soul is just OP. With Devout, Astrius can take advantage of the Pinnacle Ever Far VC that gives him 18/penetration from the sub slot. The Full Great Sword team, I would say, is ready after A2. She can heal and has amazing damage. The group has so many VC except a unit resistance one. But with A2, she can take full advantage of the regular Odin card since she is an ice unit. I will try a full Great Sword team in my A2 video. I will speak more on it then. Before shifting over to Raph, let's look at Astrius's weapon group. Like I have shown in the last slide, Great Sword can work pretty well with Devout. And a full Great Sword team is ready with A2. Now let's talk Winter Raph. The way I run Raph, I am not looking for damage. Her job is buffing, chaining, and some nasty status effects. Let's quickly go over her equipment and Espers. The new mace is her best weapon. 8 AoE resistance and 8% magic damage reduction are so good. Aim type is the one I recommend. Her accuracy is poor. I don't want any random misses. In the middle slot, the survival vest is my go-to. Marshmallow hat is good for accuracy and bunch of ailment resistances. The white cape has silent resistance and 5 agility, very good for turn order adjustment. The trust stones I recommend for her are luck set and aim set. Agility is not a bad choice if you need her to go faster. Be sure to have attack skill activation time down for her. Also, if you are running her main sub for healing, the barrier or shield set will be good. And you can give her healing power up instead of lightning attack up. The Esper I like the most for her is Dark Shiva. It has 19 agility, pierce attack, and 5 AoE resistance, which can help her get to 98 AoE resistance. Sheraton can do that as well. My second choice is Dark Siren for some unit and magic resistance. Regular Ramuh is also a good one, it has good accuracy. Next up, Raph's Sample team. Raph is on Supplicant. Her support abilities are Wreath of Safety for 15 AoE resistance, and Special Little Something for 12 unit resistance. Supplicant Intuition is also a very good choice to further reduce her casting time and extend buff duration. Her reaction I have is Wonder Heal. Keep in mind, I am not looking for damage from Raph. All she needs to do is to buff, chain, land some status effects, and be super hard to take down by magic and AoE. Her spirit penetration is only at 10. Her magic penetration is at 30. Her unit resistance starts off at 47 and will go up to 72 after receiving the buff from Astrius. Her AoE resistance starts off at 73 and will be at 98 after using Rite of Refuge. If you put her in the middle and let Alaya buff her AoE resistance, then it will be over 100. All the VCs are the same as before. If you use Raph's VC as her main, she will lose out on 5 AoE resistance, but that is fine. Her VC is a better main slot card for this team. Some debuff reduction and more HP are much better. This is a very well-rounded team. The second Raph team I have is to put her together with the Black Mages. This is the status effect team. We have Confusion and Slow from Raph, Sleep and Stop from Helena, plus Stun from Vivi. This is just too much to deal with. She is on Supplicant Intuition support for the buff extension this time. The concept is the same as running Shawls with the Black Mages, however Raph has a much more offensive AI. So she is not likely to cast heal as often. I gave her her own TMR for the unit attack resistance buff as she is not getting any from the vision cards. You can give Raph the zombie mask, so the whole team will have re-raise. This team is all about status effects and magic damage. Okay, that's all I have on Raph. Now my final thoughts on Astrius. Before the release of Winter Raph, I wrote, Astrius is a top-tier bruiser but has a very unfriendly AI, and he doesn't play very well with tanks. He desperately needs both of his buffs for him to be successful. But he too often would double cast his group buff and get into attack range much too late. He will shine in a 1v1 slot if the map allows. However, if that's not possible, he will often struggle getting his courage buff off. I think he is missing a support unit that enables a tankless lightning team with Astrius as the main bruiser. That's a part of what I wrote, and everything is still true. But now we have Winter Raph, things are much different. Astrius is now shining. He is awesome everywhere. He is already a great 1v1 unit. And now he can work perfectly with his lightning partners, Raph and Oelde. Defensively, his support ability gives him a 3x physical damage barrier. He can cast Courage, which also comes with HP regen and 10% magic damage reduction. So he is covered for both physical and magical damage. Give him the armor from the reliquaries, he will have the damage reduction effect on almost at all times. Offensively, he has 90 defense penetration easily. Has a long-range barrier break, he can remove Courage, has a 60% AoE resistance in peril, can inflict poison with his LB, plus a 3-turn follow-up attack after. The team with Astrius, Raph and Oelde just works so well. They compensate for each other's weaknesses. Barrier break, unit attack res, AoE res, courage and re-raise removal upon hit. This is one of the best team I have seen. With Raph's high AoE resistance, she often will last to the end to provide chaining and inflict status effects. If you have Oelde and Raph, go for him. They will be a very tough team to take down. If you don't have Raph, you likely will have a much harder time with him. Another great sword unit is coming in A2. She is just as powerful and has a much friendlier AI. Now let's go to sample matches. The first match of the day is taken during the pickup season last week. I was using my Black Mage team against Mono Lightning with Astrius, Raph, and Oelde. I was ranked 16 and my opponent was ranked 120 at the time. The point I want to emphasize is where you place Astrius on the map. He is a great 1v1 unit, put him there if the map allows it. Astrius's first turn. His group buff grants agility up 25 and unit resistance 25 to the group. Also, gives him courage removal upon hit and an additional reaction ability to lower incoming physical damage for 3 turns. Second turn, his courage buff also gives him 10% HP regen for 3 turns. Plus AP consumption down 33% and reduce magic damage by 10% when courage is active. Meanwhile, the other Raph is taking no damage with her shell and magic barrier. Astrius uses his LB. Before damage, grants himself a 3-turn follow-up attack and break enemy's physical damage barrier. Then deals damage large and 67% chance to inflict poison. I have been asked a few times if the Winter Raph VC is worth pulling for Mono Lightning. Great for PvE, but for auto PvP, my answer is no. It is definitely an upgrade, but not necessary. It might have future value, but I can only judge based on what's in the game currently. I might do the 1k paid pull tomorrow, but that would be it. All the matches I am about to show do not have the Raph VC, the team still perform exceptionally. This is his Select 2 ability. 2 hit medium damage, and the modifier goes up if he has lower HP. Winter Raph is an amazing anti-magic unit. My mages just can't touch her. Barrier Break Sword from Astrius. Before damage, break all damage barriers. Then deals damage large, and lower target's healing power by 40 for 3 turns. Okay, the next match features the same teams. I want to show how different positioning can affect the outcome. Rank 52 vs Rank 53. This time, Astrius is not in the 1v1 slot, and this opponent's units are in a higher reincarnation level. I promise, I will show some different teams next. The AI will always look to buff if they are not in range to attack. If 1v1 is possible, put Astrius at that slot and be faster than Winter Raph. He can take on pretty much every unit in the game if both of his buffs are online. Winter Raph and Alaia are a great duo, one great support with high AoE resistance, the other is just a monster of a DPS. You don't have to worry about them. My opponent's Astrius is too close to Winter Raph, which drew her to buff the group instead of pressing forward. My Vivi is on his Blade Soul sub for the slash attacks. That's why I gave him Zaro's TMR for haste instead of fast cast. Plus on this map, I didn't want him to stay back for too long. I wanted him to get into attack range sooner. Sleep and stun resistance are must-have on all units currently. Be sure to craft at least one. Because of Winter Raph's barrier, high AoE and magic resistance, my Raph and Helena can't damage her with AoE abilities. That's where Vivi's Blade Soul comes in. Next up is my Astrius team going up against A2 and Soul. My Astrius is in the middle. He will receive buffs from his teammates before moving straight up. That's the ideal turn order. Astrius and Alaia in front of Raph. Courage is also online. HP regen, reduced magic damage, have both AoE and unit resistance buffed. He is ready to fight. Barrier Break Sword on A2. Both her courage and re-raise are removed with one attack, very nice. That's his job level 25 attack. Increase his own defense penetration by 30 for 1 turn, then reduce target's AoE resistance by 60% for 3 turns, then deals medium damage. This ability and the barrier break attack are so good. Astrius's range is a bit short, he couldn't reach Shawls, giving her a chance to revive A2. Raph is doing her job here, confuse the enemy. Then Astrius goes in for the select 2 attack to finish off Shawls. I have a couple more matches. The first one is against Mono Wind. The second one is how life was without Raph. It was much harder to position Astrius right, so he wouldn't use his group buff twice, and get his courage off. Anyways, this video has gone on long enough. That's all I have for today. Thank you for watching. Have a good one. And happy holidays. I will see you in 2024.